have security guards. Not because of black women. We're going to do just what we do. We're going to fuss and we're going to cuss and do a little something, you know. But I have it because of black men. Because the black man's guide to understand the black woman puts the black man on point. And it reminds him what he has allowed to happen to his woman and his family.
Wake your punk ass up. Warrior class, zoo, stand up. Warrior class, zoo, rise up. Warrior class, zoo, speak up. Warrior class, zoo, show up. Warrior class, zoo, smoke 'em out. Peace, blessings, and black power. Is a Maja way to coming back at it again. We black at it again. On this one, again, I'm always trying to explain it, the reason why the black nation is in the predicament that it is in is because of the men. So I'm always saying that the men are weak. The men are cowardly. The issue is it's the men. Well, I always got to show you examples so that you will learn that when it's your turn, you will better understand what you should do in that case and scenario, not necessarily what you've been used to doing. And we as men, we are going to have to get to the point where we understand, we code up, and we basically reinforce the code to other men. So this concept of going at it alone, we can't do it alone. We're underfunded, when we don't have the economics that we need, we don't have the education that we need, we don't have the interpretation of real life events. So the men are pretty much on autopilot repeat. The women are too, but it benefits the women. So even though the women may not agree with the way things are, as long as she can play, everything about it is sex and the ability to play. As long as she can go somewhere and have sex or not have sex, but as long as she can go somewhere and play, what she would do is she would choose that particular path. She would choose that road because it allows her to play. The male, we don't have that option. That is not an option for us. Even though males are doing it, it's backfiring. And what happens when it backfires is other men take advantage of the situation. Default, they take advantage of our nation. They're killing our sons. They're killing our brothers. They're killing our future generations. And what we as men have to do is, I don't care if you're religious. Well, I'm going to put it in the Lord's hands. If you come around us making those statements, you are letting us know you will not do the necessary thing in order to bring about justice. So when I speak that I speak, I'm explaining to you guys as males, as listening members of the audience, even as women, the reason why we are in these predicaments is because of the men. But why am I going to blame it on the men if I keep pointing out the women? I blame the men because you are here because you're refusing to do the things that you're supposed to do in order to bring about. I blame the women because she's the one that did it to you. Your father allowed it though. Well, why are you saying that? It's confusing. When your mother and father met, I'm going to go to day one, Adam and Eve. I'm going to go day one. The original man and the original woman, the woman did not want to do all of the things that the man did, or all of the things that the man wanted her to do. The woman wanted to do what the woman wanted to do. The female, she wanted to do what she wanted to do. And because she wanted to do what she wanted to do, she pretty much disobeyed. Now understand how it works. I'm not going to give you the biblical story. It's pointless for us to discuss the biblical story because too many people believe it's fictitious. And since too many people believe it's fictitious, it's not going to hit the appropriate audience that it should hit. So I'm just going to say original man, original woman. The woman didn't want to do what she was supposed to do. In essence, well, what was she supposed to do? She was supposed to do everything she was told to do. Whatever that man told her to do, that's what she was supposed to do. Well, I disagree with that. Now, I don't know, but where is he going with this? When she decided not to do what she was told to do by that particular man, what she allowed is other things to come into the mix. And when she allowed other things to come into the mix, over the course of time, patterns come about. Look at your wives, look at your girlfriends, look at the women you spend a significant amount of time with. When are you most happiest? Are you most happiest in an in-depth debate and an in-depth conversation when 8,000 words are spoken and then you guys are, yeah, now that was a good conversation? Or is the house, the relationship, most at peace when that female does what you say? Let's put it back in its context. There are men out here that are telling women to rob banks, and the women are robbing them, and the men are happy, and the women are happy. There are men out here going out here telling women to have sex with multiple men. You get the money, and you give me the capital. But the women are doing what they're told to do. So nothing is perfect. So even though I'm giving you that aspect of it, you're most happiest when you're doing what you were told to do. So then why are the women not doing what they were told to do? In a nutshell, not every woman's a wife. And what we've done, not us, but what the dominant society, the terroristic society has done, what they have done is they pretty much did whatever they did, and they just said all women, all females are wife material, and they are not. So what we are fighting with is those that are women that look like wife material but are not wife material. So then we wife them up, we impregnate them, and we believe we can turn this hoe into a housewife, and we cannot. That is the problem that we're having. This is why, even though we give them the knowledge, even though we give them the information, even though we try to give them the facts, the data, and the statistics, they're not getting it because they are not wives. That is the problem. They are not wives. They are individual girls. They are daughters. They are nieces. They are female, but they're not wives. They weren't raised to be wives. They don't know how to be a wife. And even when they look at the owner's manual or the how-to manual, they reject everything about it because they are not wives. That is the dilemma that we are having. So when I sit up here and I try to show you the way I see a particular picture, I'm explaining to you guys the women did it because she didn't want to do what she was told to do. But the man did what he did. He either left her or he forced the issue. But when that lady is having children, you must understand, when that lady has children, she's putting that poison into those children's heads. That's where the dilemma comes. And the why, even if he was the man of all mans, he allowed it because he couldn't stop it. Well, what do you mean he couldn't stop it? If you go back to original man, original woman, how can he have stopped it? We're day oneers. He still has to go eat. He still has to go hunt. He still has to go provide. He still has to go do specific things in order to keep a shelter, to keep you all protected, to make sure that enough food is around in order for somebody to eat. So while he's away, he knew that she was putting that poison into those kids' head, but he couldn't stop it. Especially if he's raising children by himself. He's the first one. There is no grandmoms. There is no babysitters. There is no agency. There are no group homes. There are no battered women's shelters. There's nothing. He had no other choice but to allow it to take its course. Here goes the dilemma with allowing too many things to run its course. Same thing I mentioned to you once before, different example, same example. If you're going down the street, destination, you want to know how to get from New York to California, but you're having a difficulty with understanding the route. You're going to get on that highway, and you're going to go down that highway, and you're going to be on that highway, and everything looks good, and everything sounds good, and everything feels good. For all intents purposes, it feels like you're going in the right direction. So you continue going in that direction until something comes up and says, hey, you're heading in the wrong direction. You will either see a billboard, you will either see a marquee, you will either see license plates, you would either see an exit, or time will say, I should have been there by now. Something would indicate to you that you are heading in the wrong direction. Then it takes you however long to figure out what did you do wrong, however long it takes you to figure out how to correct your direction, how to course correct. However long it took you to go in the wrong direction, you also have to take that amount of time in general to fix it, to make the U-turn, to go back in the other direction. You were 2 hours going in the wrong direction. Cali to New York, you were 3 hours, you were 8 hours, you were 16 hours, you were 12 hours. You were too many hours going in the wrong direction. And in that paradigm, there was gas you spent. In that paradigm, there was miles you put on a car. And that paradigm, in that example, there was just too many things that you neglected on your way to California that you now got to double back and spend the same amount of time in order to go in the right direction. That is one example to explain it sometimes just takes too long for things to work itself out. Oh, you'll see when you get older. Pop was mean when he was young. He was quiet. He didn't come home. He was this. He was that. He was a drunk. He was abusive. He was when I was young. It's going to take you too many years to figure out exactly what your father was going through. It's going to take you too many years to figure out who was opposition to your father. By the time you figure it out that it was your whole ass mama, X amount of years have went by, X amount of words have been spoken, X amount of things have transpired to the point where that man is dead in the ground. And there is no digging him up saying, I'm sorry. That man is homeless, alcoholic. There is no getting him back and saying, yo, I didn't know you were going through that. Why didn't you tell me? And the only thing they can say is you was a kid. It wasn't your place. I had to deal with it the best way I knew how. And the best way I knew how was allow your mom to do what she does. And I was hoping justice. You would see the justice. You would see it. Problem is when the women do what they do, they put that shit in their kids' head and the kids don't see it. And even when they do see it, too much damage has been done. And by that time, the kids are repeating the same cycle. I'm going to give you a name, a term, justice. And this is why I say white supremacy, racism. This is why I say human beings. I say white people. I say nobody believes in justice. You got to get it back in its context. We're talking about problems, solutions, and problem solving. This is the literal definition of the word justice. A behavior or treatment, just behavior or treatment. A concern for justice, peace, and genuine respect for people. That's the first one. Second one is a judge or magistrate, in particular, a judge of a Supreme Court of a country or state. So we're going to go with the first one because we don't want to do all these definitions every time somebody speaks. You'll never get nowhere. But I'm trying to speak in the form of context, justice. We were hoping, the men were hoping that the children would see the evil, the wickedness that the women were practicing. And if they were able to see the evil and the wickedness that the women were practicing, in time they would see that the men really couldn't do anything. Not because they weren't strong, not because they weren't smart, because he has to be away. He has to be away earning money. Justice. If I'm over here and I'm doing my part, if I'm over here and I'm trading, I'm on the spice trade, I'm in the fabrics trade, I'm on the maritime shipping, I'm fishing. If I'm out here and I'm trying to make a living for myself as well as the woman I chose and then my children, I can't be there being a disciplinary at the exact same time. It's not going to happen. So I had to allow your mother to raise you up in the ways of a coward. She raised you to be weaker. Justice. So it's a concern for justice, peace, and a genuine respect for people. There is no way you can believe in justice if it's a genuine respect for people. What that woman was supposed to have done was raise my son in the ways of me. While I'm away at the army, while I'm away in war, while I'm away in building the pyramids, I'm trying to go back to the beginning. You can't use these terms and these contexts now because the landscape is too saturated. The environment is too contaminated. So we can use them, but we got to go chronologically. We have to start off at the beginning. The beginning was she didn't do what she was supposed to do. Why is it that she didn't do what she was supposed to do? Because she's human. And she has the freedom to do what she wants to do. Even if it affects the family, even if the family can benefit from it, she can do what she want to do. This is where the men make the mistake. The men make the mistake in not cutting bait. When that woman is doing what she's supposed to do, well, no. When that woman, that female is doing what she wants to do versus doing what she's supposed to do, the men are supposed to scratch that, get off of that. Okay, so you one of those. Start over. Go get another woman who's in child rearing age, who has these understandings, who knows how to be a wife. If the female knows how to be a wife, then we marry her because she knows how to be a wife. But if you're in the very, very beginning, there are no other wives to choose from. That's the only wife you can choose from. You're going to have to let it run its course. There are no other women to choose. Over the course of time, as she's putting that poison in those children's head, those children, they grow up and they have family of their own, children of their own, and they repeat the process. They put it in the children's head and they repeat the process. And next thing you know, you get generation after generation after generation. Understand my examples. We are here because of the women put us here. And your fathers allowed it. Now that the situation, the landscape, the environment is set up the way it is, it's hard. The women generally raise weaker male specimens. The women raise weaker male specimens because the males, the stronger male specimens, they're the ones that issue out justice. They're the ones that issue out correctiveness. They're the ones that pretty much tell everybody how to move. Move left or move right. They're the ones that pretty much tell people how to move. The weaker ones, they don't. The weaker ones pretty much repeat whatever mommy says. Well, if you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. The weaker ones pretty much repeat whatever mommy says. And if mommy tells him to go out there and sell drugs, he's going to go out there and sell drugs. If mommy tells him to go out there and go to school and get an education, he's going to go out there and do those things. For the most part. So if a pattern is starting to develop, or now being recognized, we're in this predicament because of the women. The women are chasing away stronger men, and then the women are using weaker men to sit in the throne. The weaker men outnumber the stronger men. Always has been, and it always will be. And when weaker men are on the throne, when weaker men are in the presidency, what you then get is when outsider men come to challenge the throne, weaker men usually lose. Strategies make you weaker. Whether or not you seek advice from specific agencies, they make you weaker. Stronger men usually win. Stronger men meaning discipline, not physical strength. Strong, because understand, you could be sitting there. I want to make sure I don't go too long. You could be sitting there and both men can be equally strong, equally 6 feet, equally able to lift 500 pounds. So then what makes one stronger than the other? What makes one weaker than the other? And it's usually that fork in the road psychologically. Somewhere up there in the mind piece, one of those males ain't going to cross that line. And that's usually that male that pretty much does things for the pussy. When he buys a car, he buys it to show off and get the attention of other women. When he dresses up in his clothes, he does it to show off to get the attention of other women. When he buys the house, when he gets the job, when he does these things, it's pretty much for the attention of other women. So the difference is when the stronger men buy the exact same things, it is not for the attention of other women. It is simply because he likes it and he's expressing his individuality. Those are two different things. So we're doing the same things, but we're going after two different results. I want to sit up here and I want to play you some videos, sound bites of what's going on out here. The women chose weaker men. The women chose weaker men because weaker men allow them to do what they want to do, which is play. To have a lot of sex or to not have sex. Not to work or not to work. To work or not to work. The women chose weaker men. And because the women chose weaker men and teach younger males to be weak, what you now have is weaker men are fighting stronger men. Weaker men are fighting stronger men because stronger men say, yo, that ain't right. And we check them. When we check them, we lose. We don't lose because it's a principle of right and wrong or strength. We lose because we're outnumbered. I'm outnumbered. I'm completely outnumbered. And I know that I'm outnumbered. I also know it's time to put some of our women in the grave. Put them in the wall. I also know it's time for some of our men to go out here and start having children with other women to replenish our race. Men don't agree with that. That means more child support. But I'm under the mindset, I'll pay the child support as long as I can replenish my ranks. I'm under the mindset, I'll take about 5 years. I'm a middle-aged male. I'll take about 5 years. I'll do the research. How much is it going to cost to get a surrogate? Man, that's going to cost whatever the number is. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to go to the fertility clinic. I'm going to come in a cup. I'm going to nut in a jar. I'm going to do whatever I got to do for them to extract the semen from me. And I'm going to look through their little brochure. And I'm going to try to pick the darkest, sexiest, prettiest black female. And I'm going to say, I want her to carry my kid. And when I sign that paperwork, I get full custody of my kid. Full custody. So when that time happens in the next 10 years, I'm going to empty out my 401k. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get that one more kid, male, and then raise him better than I raise any of my kids. And I don't care if I had 15 kids. I'm going to raise him better than any of my kids. That child is going to be a goddamn warrior. He's going to be a warrior in the economic sense. He's going to go get that money. He's going to be race first from beginning to end. But I know men aren't ready for that conversation. I'm explaining to you guys that between 1965 to 2000, the women are worthless. They're trash. And I'm not speaking specifics. Well, what about my mama? Yo, if she fits if she fits the profile, then the glove fit. If the shoe fits, then wear it. If the shoe doesn't fit, then common sense, I'm not talking about her, so it should be excluded. From 1965 to 2000, the women are trash. It's their mindset. It had to be in the water and not the education, because I'm looking at the education. I'm looking what was in the books. I'm looking what was in the magazine. And no, it had to be a chemical that was put into them when they were first born. And that chemical had to mess up something psychological. And when it was messed up, nobody could see it. Now we're dealing with the after effects, and it's from 1965 to 2000. Like, God damn, you fuckers are not. You're whores. You talk like whores, you Jezebels. You act like whores, Jezebels. You act like all you wanted to do was have sex, no babies. It's just that with life comes babies. So, oh well. But even when you had babies and you had the children, you did absolutely nothing to protect your children or tell your children to do better. If you were a single mother, single parent mother, and you were raising X amount of kids by yourself, why would you tell your daughter it's okay to go out there and have a child and you don't need a man? Knowing how difficult it was for you to raise these children by yourself, why would you not tell your daughter, nah, you better get with a mate? 2 checks are better than 1. No, you better get with a mate. Because while one is at work, the other one could be at home taking care of the kids. Y'all didn't do that. You just told them it's okay. You don't need the other half. I don't want to get into that. I'm going to let it stay in the video, but I don't want to get into that. Because I'm going to try to make this one quick. What I'm going to try to explain to you guys is listen to what we're saying. The women are in position now, but men are keeping them in this position. Why are men keeping them in it? Because they're weaker. And that means that he has to work. So if he can get with a female that he doesn't have to work, he would rather get with the female that he doesn't have to work versus get with the female he's going to have to work. Y'all know what we talking about. Play the tape.
It's your premise that the black woman is out of sync with the natural order of things. Can you explain that?
That the black woman's disrespect and rebellion against the leadership and the authority of the black man is a direct cause of the breakdown in the black family structure. It's not an attack on us as black women. It's just saying that in the breakdown of any relationship, both parties have to take responsibility. And as black women, we have been protected and insulated from any kind of examination about what our share of the responsibility is in the breakdown of the black family. My book represents the first platform, certainly, that the black man has ever had to air his grievances about the black woman, because no one would ever listen to him. They have only listened to us. In 1985, I authored How Not to Eat Pork or Life Without the Pig. And at that time, I was going around doing what I was calling Get Off That Hog lectures. And during my travels, I noted that I would take the microscope and show people how you can't kill the trichina worm in pork by cooking it. Heat was not destroying the worm, and I would show them, the difference, and demonstrate how FDA was now using radiation to try to kill the worms in pork because cooking was not working, which is what we had always been told. And during that time, a lot of black men were in agreement to get off eating pork. They wanted to change their eating habits, and they were happy to find out some information that might possibly save their lives. But it was black women who were the most adamant, who refused to change meal planning techniques, seasoning food, cooking techniques. And so I said, that's interesting. I said, if we are refusing to provide the black man with the proper physical food when we know that food is what sustains life, then what else are we withholding from him? Possibly there's some other areas, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, that we are affecting his behavior by what we do or what we withhold and refuse to give. And that led me to try to find out. We've always heard that the black man leaves the black family, abandons his woman and children, won't take care of the children, won't work, stays out all night, turns into a drunk, takes drugs. We've heard a lot of negative things. Most of them are true. But I wanted to find out what happens before he gets to that point. What leads up to the breakdown? We've never gone back to try to find out what happens in the relationship between the black man and a black woman that makes him go off and do all of these bad things. To assume that this is just normal, natural behavior for black men would be to assume that he is naturally bad. And I do not believe that the man that God gave to us as a mate is a naturally bad person. And so I wanted to try to examine what goes on with him. What's his side of the story? We have never had a black woman who actually stood up and said, I'm standing up for the black man's side of the story. We know what our side is, and both sides are true. We have done some very dreadful things to each other, and I don't exonerate black men, which is kind of a misconception that people have. I just say that we know his side. What about our side? And we do have a side. We have adopted some wrong standards. We are judging our men many times by the wrong value system. We are using his children sometimes against him. We have been told that the only benefit that a black man provides in a home is money, and if he does not give us money to take care of those kinds of financial provisions, that he has no value. And what my research has proven to me is that a black man, any man in any home, provides much more than financial support. The man provides guidance, instruction, discipline for the children, which we sorely need in our black homes. He provides gratification, fulfillment, protection. I mean, there's so many other values, and these values are the ones that are missing in our children today, which is why many black children are in the street, out of control themselves, disrespectful, don't have any regard for anyone. And most of us are scared of them, and everybody else is, because nobody has a way into them to try to gain any control over them. So I maintain that a return to traditional family values, certain clearly defined gender responsibilities for black men and black women in running a home and a relationship will help us to produce a better child. And if we produce a better child, certainly we'll have a better future and a better nation that we have never let our men know about. And many times we say, he can't handle me. Well, many times he can't handle us because he doesn't know what it is he's trying to handle. He doesn't understand what motivates us. We have become very adept, many of us, at being able to do something right in front of his eyes and then convince him that that's not what he really saw at all and that it didn't happen. So we've kept him kind of confused. There certainly have been a lot of things taken out of context. Anyone who's ever looked at me or seen, witnessed some of the talk shows, they actually exploit a lot of issues. They take them out of context. They want to sensationalize them to build up their ratings to have a good show. So I really appreciate this opportunity to just sit down and have a fireside chat about the book.
Well, I'm glad
without all the fireworks and everything. We take a position because of our own emotional mechanisms. We harass our men too much. We nag our men too much, and we keep his mind and his head so bundled up and bogged down with all of our personal idiosyncrasies about our day-to-day personal relationship with him that a lot of times we don't free his mind up to go out and to plan sanely for our future and for the future of our children. Many of them come to us every day and they almost have to do a wind test. They don't know what's going on. They don't know who they're going to meet because we have a lot of reactions. We tend to think as black women that a successful relationship and one where we're happy is one where everything goes our way. And the first time it goes another kind of a way, then we go into hell, turmoil in our brain, and we start deciding, I've got terrible problems with this man. He won't do what I want him to do. When our men have a side.
The black man in America is the only male on earth, including every continent, who is disrespected by the women in his nation.
That's true.
This situation does not exist anyplace else among the billions of people inhabiting our planet except here in America.
That's right.
The other black men, the yellow men, the red men, the brown men, and the white men are all honored and respected by their respective nations. All other women recognize and accept that the man is the authority, the ruler, and the leader. Only here in the United States, in the black nation, scattered throughout the United States, is the black man neglected.
A lot of us don't really understand what slavery actually did to us and how much psychological trauma it did to us regarding what our proper roles are with each other, what our responsibilities are as man and woman in our various communities and relationships. We have never been debriefed from slavery. Not really. We have just, we know we had that history, but we don't know how it affected us. We don't know how much of our actual culture we lost, how much of our ideas were taken from us. We know that our religion was taken from us. We know that our names were taken from us, but we don't know how many other standards of day-to-day life have been removed. And while we have adopted the American way of doing things, they have not worked for us because we have a very special situation. We are not the same as everyone else. And a lot of the people who want us to pretend that slavery didn't exist or to forget about it, they've never been a slave. So they don't know what we're going through. They don't know what this has done to us. It has made us as black women insecure. We've always had books about black women, how great and how strong we are, and we are that. I'm just saying that we have used our strength in the wrong direction. We have used it against our men. We have used our strength in the wrong direction. We have used it against our men. We have used our strength in the wrong direction. We have used it against our men. We have used it against our men. We have used it against our men. We have used it against our men instead of standing up for them. And if we start to support our men and to speak a good word for him publicly, then so many people won't be able to come against him and tear him down. And he won't have to feel so frustrated. And he won't be outside away from us looking for peace of mind with women of other nationalities, because we actually want our own black man. We need him back in our homes, and we want to have one. We're just living in a culture where they're trying to convince us that not only do we not need a man, but there's some other options to having one. And those options mainly are celibacy or lesbianism. Unfortunately, as I say, since money has been used as the measure, many times if a black man does not have money to give us, we won't even let him see his children. We won't let him spend any time with it because he does not give us whatever the child support is. And I'm not saying that we don't need money to raise a child, but I try to explain to black women that raising a child consists of much more than feeding, clothing, and sheltering it. That's maintaining one. To raise one, you need a return of the parental coalition of the father and the mother to put the proper values into the child. Many of our boys, when we raise them alone, they grow up with the female emotional mechanism. They are suspicious, they are doubtful, they're disrespectful of womanhood, they're bitchy, they can't make a decision. And many of our girls who grew up in a home where there's no man present, they go out into the world and try to mate. They don't have any idea how to live with a man day to day, how to prepare a proper meal, how to be a mother, how to just be in love in the home.
You say that the black woman would like to be a clone of the white woman. You say that the black woman would like to be a clone of the white woman. You say that the black woman would like to be a clone of the white woman. The black woman would like to be a clone of the white woman. The black woman would like to be a clone of the white woman.
Many of us, yes. That's unfortunate. You see, the white woman has been the only mentor that we have had of a female. We've seen her every day of our life on television, every magazine, every newspaper, every commercial. You know, it's just been her face, her body, her image, whatever it has been in front of us. And so today we have the results of that. We have black women who are trying to dye their hair blonde, who are wearing blue and green contacts in their eyes, you know, who wear tons and tons of layers of makeup, who have changed their voice, who have hair weaves so they can have flowing long hair blowing in the wind, you know, like Brooke Shields or somebody, you know. And as a result of us doing that, we have also adopted the women's liberation movement goals of wanting to be liberated from the man and have some kind of pseudo-equality, when while that may be true of the white woman and her plight with the white man, that's not really the black woman's business, because we haven't been under the control of the black man for over 500 years. Saying that we have a lot of power. We have power to make heaven and hell for our men. And I'm saying, let's try making heaven. Let's try to build him up. If a man has his woman behind him, he will believe he can do anything. And all we need to do is to get our men to believe that they can do anything. And he'll be able to, you know, do much better than he's doing now and come out of the pitiful condition he's in. As I said, I'm not exonerating him. I'm just saying that all of that strength that we have, let's use it in a more positive way instead of just going for self. I think that by judging our men on how much money he makes, we have lost a lot of good men. Because as black women, if we decide that all of us are going to just determine whether or not we're going to have a man based on how much money he makes, then won't none of us have no man. Because most black men don't have no money. I have security guards, not because of black women. We're going to do just what we do. We're going to fuss and we're going to cuss and do a little something, you know. But I have it because of black men. Because the black man's guide to understand the black woman puts the black man on point. And it reminds him what he has allowed to happen to his woman and his family. Many black men become intimidated. They don't want to take responsibility for their women. They don't want the challenge. They don't want to be put on point, so they become overwhelmed. Many black men become intimidated. They don't want to take responsibility for their women. They don't want the challenge. They don't want to be put on point, so they become overwhelmed. Many black men become intimidated. They don't want to take responsibility for their women. They don't want the challenge. They don't want to be put on point, so they become overwhelmed. And it's them that go off.
Right here is what I want to focus on. Right here, she said it is black men that go off. And what I'm trying to say, the men are going off already because the men were not men. The men were boys transitioning into adult men. And when you are weak, when you are timid, when you are scared, when you are afraid as an adult male or turning into an adult male, now you're going to be challenged. And you're going to be challenged by other males primarily for your resources, which means your job, your car, your house. We really don't want your woman. We want your resources, territory. We want it. But because you're weak and because you're scared and because your mama did it to you, what happens is now that when we go out here and we try to fix it, you're the first line of defense. So even though they did it, you are also now stuck in a loop because you're not equipped. This is the primary reason why men don't come around men. This is the primary reason why strong men don't hang around other strong men. We hang around other men to allow us to get to where we got to go as far as resources are concerned. Power. But if we're not talking power, you off on the yacht, I'm climbing a mountain, I'm in the gym exercising. We're doing whatever we want to do, but we're not doing what weaker men are doing. What weaker men are doing, they're in the club. What weaker men are doing, they're on the corner just chilling, just not doing much of anything. What weaker men are doing, they're on stage. Weaker men display their strength a different way. Stronger men, they display their strength a different way. The only time we really come together is, again, to make policy. If we are not making policy, then there is no reason for us to come together. And when it's time to enforce policy, we have measures in place to enforce policy. So even though I'm telling you the women did this to you, and because your daddy's allowed it, what I'm saying at the same time is now that root has taken place, it has been allowed to fester too long in you. So now you're perpetuating it. Now you're the one keeping it afloat. And what you have to do is you have to get with stronger males and understand that if you keep playing that role, you're going to be sacrificial, because she's going to sacrifice you. She's going to sacrifice you because she always has the trump card. She's not stronger than you. She just has the trump card. It's the same thing with the Democratic or Republican vote. Every season, every year, they're always trying to figure out which way the black group is going to vote. And even though you think that you don't have power, you need to understand you have power. It's just that there are certain elements in place that are preventing you from using and exercising your power. But you have power. So I don't want to segue too long off of that. I want to stick on the topic. As this lady is explaining, it's the women. As the lady is explaining, it's the women. But it also upsets men because now it holds men accountable. So what I am saying is I'm coming out the gate. I ain't using all those words. I don't want to sit here for 7 days and try to school you and educate you. Yes, this is class. Pull up a chair and learn something. Yes. But at the same time, we can't go through chapter 1 for the first time. This is why we got videos. Watch previous videos. This is why we got the syllabus. Go back and get your homework and get your notes. Year after year after year, we have these lessons. We can't keep doing that. That's for the next generation. See, because as we are having these conversations, or we are having these lessons, as we, middle age and up, are saying 70s babies and up are saying this is where we went wrong. This is what we got to do for the next generation. Then it's the next generation that's going to pick up where we left off or where we were not able to go. And then they're going to continue. But they shouldn't have the same conversation. Now, the only real reason when we need to come out of the shadows is and say, hey, no, you got that wrong. And then they're going to say, well, what I thought you would, I know what you thought, but you got it wrong. That's not what that rule says. That's not what that clause says. That's not what that amendment says. That's not why we put all this in place. We put all that in place to say this. Bop, bop, boop, boop, bing, bing, blase, blase. Follow the rules, the laws, the regulations. Follow the code. And then what happened was the generation, oh, okay, they ain't playing with that. Now, you can't color outside of that line. Okay, they'll go back to their squad and then go say, yo, fellas, I was wrong. Yeah, we can't do that. Why, man? Same thing, they built this casino in the city of Richmond. They built this casino. Well, they started the landscape on this casino. They started leveling. They started pouring cement. They started everything. And when that vote came, they said, oh, well, we're going to have to scratch that. So it'd be like with any other plan. Hey, fellas, we can't do that. Why? I don't put so much money. Well, we're going to. Well, you can't get your refund. There ain't no refund. But we can redivert those economics, those resources to another whatever, and then we can continue on there. But we can't do that here. That's the only time when we pretty much come out of the shadows. I want you guys to continue to listen to what this lady is saying by the women. It's the women that did this.
Where we would not let other people define us and confine us. And then you said we're demeaned, diminished, demoralized in ways we accommodate. Tell us why you say we're so out of order.
I think now because we get paid to be out of order now.
Okay.
Some of the images that we allowed to be portrayed of us, some of the ways that we behave and treat each other publicly.
Yeah.
And we've made a lot of progress. I want to look at the sweet spots also. I mean, we've got a woman of color in the White House. Yeah. We've got women of color in Congress, everywhere. I think on the personal level, down on the ground, we still need to do some work. And I don't blame us. Mm-hmm. I just say that the way we've been conditioned and programmed and educated doesn't afford us the ability to really tap into and live fully who we are. And then we engage in bad behavior, bad behavior.
Girl, Miss Shanika and Shawty, this one right here today is so bad that none of the women try to defend this, but we won't waste any time. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you are not already subscribed, and hit the like button right now. Let's get into it.
I'm calling about my girl, man. I'm just trying to figure out really what's going on with her. She's been just acting crazy out of nowhere. I mean, she's just being a little rude. She's being mean. And I honestly don't get it. Like, you know, I'm normally, nice, trying to be a gentleman to her. And she's just tweaking, right?
Has anything transpired between the two of you?
Absolutely nothing. I don't cheat. I'm not the cheating type. I don't look at other women. I don't do anything to that nature, man. I just make sure that my girl is good.
You sound like a real nice guy, though.
I mean, I try to be.
We have a guy here. He says he's a nice guy. He's all about doing for his woman, making sure his girl is good. But all of a sudden, she's being very mean to him and snappy. That's a sign that a woman is trying to push you away. She's either tired of you, whatever it is, she's not wanting you anymore. Well, she's very irritable. Now, that could be other things when it comes to a woman as well. So you know what? Let's just go ahead and keep listening and give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe something's going on that's much deeper than what this could usually mean.
We just got a few questions. Are you currently dating someone?
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda. How long have you kinda been dating this someone?
For a couple of months.
Who are you seeing right now?
His name is AJ.
AJ, okay. So I think we're on the right track. What's going on with you and AJ right now, Tatiana?
Oh my God. So AJ is amazing. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
He is a great guy. He's so nice. He's just everything that a woman could ever dream of. But he's too nice. This man, let me tell you what he's so nice that it's annoying. So he keeps fresh flowers on my desk at work. So every week I got a new bouquet coming, and everybody looking at me, snickering and going on. It's just too much.
Her ungrateful attitude is what's annoying. When they asked her if she was dating somebody, did you hear her say, kinda? We're talking about a man that's delivering you fresh flowers to your office so everyone in public can see that someone wants you and they're interested in you. He's delivering these fresh flowers to your office every single week. And when somebody asks if you're even just dating him, you say kind of. That explains why she's being mean to him, why she's being snappy, why she has an attitude with him. He's annoying to her. She just called this man annoying and a nuisance for being nice to her. This is an example of a woman who's not used to nothing. She's used to men treating her like trash. You see, a lot of women, they like pain. They like drama. And when they have a nice person who's not giving them any drama, basically the perfect person for them, they get bored. Now, people that think like this, they definitely have a lot of work to do on themselves to figure out why is it that they love so much chaos or toxicity. It always makes me wonder when I hear people complaining about all these toxic men in their lives or the toxic women in their lives. It's like, for whatever reason, you must love being in that environment because you keep attracting the same people, you keep dealing with the same people, and then you complain about them. This guy is perfect. She said it out of her own mouth. And basically, she's bored and ungrateful.
We went out to dinner. I'm literally sprinting in my heels to beat him to the door so I can try to open it for myself.
Girl, why? Wait, hold on now.
Oh, crazy.
Hold on, Tatiana. What is wrong with a man showing you love and affection? What's wrong with the flowers?
It's fine when we first started dating, but now, like, we're in there. You ain't gotta keep doing all this.
Oh.
He opened the car door every time we going to get in the car. It's like, go start the car so we can go. Like, I can open my own door. You don't have to do this every time.
So
it's annoying.
You must have never had a guy treat you like this before.
No, I haven't. And I'm gonna be honest. I be trying to start little arguments because I need a little toxicity, somewhere.
Christ.
He just will not respond.
Wait a minute, I ain't never heard
What
that.
was you? No, ma'am, Pam. What was she when I was thugging?
You see, she loves that toxic environment. She loves the drama.
So on essence, what you heard, if the audio came out right, is you really heard a female basically say that the man that she chose is a nice guy, and sometimes she needs some of that toxicity. And this is the problem with your beta males or your weaker male specimens. Your weaker male specimens, they typically do not do that. They don't roll that way. They're nice guys. If you tell them what to do, they're going to make sure they get it done. They're going to move heaven and hell to get it done for you. You are the reason why they breathe. You are the very reason of their existence, to please you. So you go with them because they're safe. But here goes the dilemma when they're safe. They're not aggressive. And the women need that aggressiveness. I met a dude one time and he said that his uncle said to him that it's like every 3 months he gotta, slap his chick around, which was his girlfriend, his wife at the time. And, we laughed about it because I said, I know. I understood what he meant, even though I don't do it. I understood what he meant. And it's like they don't behave. Not until they experience a certain amount of drama, a certain amount of pain. And I said to myself, I'm speaking to myself, I'm not that kind of guy that's going to keep doing. I don't mind doing it. That's my lane. But the ass whoopings have to come to a stop. And if you're telling me we 13 years deep in the relationship and you haven't figured it out, I'm out. Because what you're asking for, I'm no longer willing to give. I'm not doing that. That means it's you. That means you need to go have you need therapy, and I'm not with all that. You know what I'm saying? Putting my hands on you all of the time in order for you to feel that you need to feel. Whatever it is that you need to feel, I'm not the one that's going to be able to do it to you. You can go on your way and I go about my way. But what I'm explaining is how the women did this. And 100 years ago, when we didn't really know or understand the personality type of these females, we didn't understand what we were dealing with. They're not right. They're off a little bit. And we're dealing with it. But they know what they are. They're okay with it. The problem is we as men, it's not the way we roll. We roll a different way. And when the outsiders see what's going on, they take advantage of that. Because the outsiders treat her the way she wants to be treated. Go back to the video when it says Iyanla Vanzant is because they're getting paid. They're getting paid to be out of order. The outsiders treat her the way that they want to be treated. We don't. The women are doing this. And if you want to fix it, you're going to have to get your children away from the women. If you want to fix it, you're going to have to get your paper up so you can fight those laws and those legalities so that when the child is born into this world, the child comes live with you. But this concept of thinking that the females are going to fix it, the females aren't going to fix it. The females are okay with it. This is why the women are banging on the women. They're okay with it. And what we need to do is understand, all right, they're okay with that. For us that are not okay with that, we need to separate ourselves from the herd. And we need to move in a direction that is okay for us to protect our nation, because these people will not protect our nation. They are the type of people that will put our nation at risk. They will put our nation in jeopardy. and we need to protect our nation. Warrior class, Zoo, rise up. Warrior class, Zoo, speak up. Warrior class, Zoo, show up. Warrior class, Zoo, smoke 'em out. Black power.